Ladies and gentlemen, please throw your hands in the air for the greatest podcast on earth when it comes to music, sports, and culture. Disabled is Abled with your host, Eli and Fredy. So put your hands together if you are ready to get the show started. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of Disabled is Able, where we, the disabled, demonstrate superpowers, super intelligence, super wittiness, super knowledge of all the things music, sports, and culture.
Hey,
what's up, fellas?
What up?
Chilling
Got
like
Fredy
a
to
villain.
my right, Eli to my left. Fredy, I always like to ask you, how is school going?
School's going good. You know, home stretch. I got a few tests next week. Presentation next week.
Finals.
Yeah, it's coming in. 3 weeks left. I got 3 weeks.
Let's clap that up. 3 weeks is.
3 weeks.
That means
Around
you've
the
done
corner.
it.
Around the
And then
corner.
you'll be a senior.
I'll be a senior.
Whoa.
Oh, man. It's
Whoa.
crazy. Senior. I'm gonna get a 4-year BS in biology.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
It's worth a little more because I take more credits.
Absolutely, and that's what you want. You
That's
want
what
when you tell them how much your price is,
Yep.
they got to come up with that bread.
With that number.
Eli, we went to see Uncle Chill and hung out. And
Yeah, we
stuff.
hung out for a little bit. That
Little
was
bit.
fun.
Chill. Shout
Yeah.
out Uncle Chill.
Yeah.
Shout out Uncle Chill.
Yeah, man. And then we watched some basketball.
Yes, we watched some really good games.
Watched the Nets and Lakers.
Yes, very good game.
And yeah, let's get it popping.
So with that being said, let's get this thing.
You're listening to the sounds of Disabled is Abled podcast.
We're gonna open up this session with breaking news from the NBA.
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray.
Jamal, because I don't know why I'm thinking Dante Murray. Jamal Murray from the Denver Nuggets tore his ACL.
Yeah, last
That
night.
looked bad.
Last
Last
night
night.
with like 50 seconds
50
left in the
seconds
game.
left. They was trying to come back. It was 10-point lead with like a minute left.
And then when I saw the play, it didn't look anything unnatural.
No, it didn't. But when I saw the replay and I saw him land on
Land
that
on
foot,
it. Yeah.
it gave a little twitch, and that twitch was either
It's all it takes.
yeah,
Right.
that's all it takes.
And that's sad because Denver was my dark horse team.
Yeah,
Right,
our
right.
dog horse team.
Yeah, to go all
Yeah.
the way.
And we said that last week.
Yes.
And with the help of Aaron Gordon, they was gonna look
They were
like...
going to be unstoppable
yeah.
almost in terms of long wing defenders.
Now Joker can still help Aaron develop into the player that he needs to be. And I'm not saying
No.
Aaron needs a lot of help, but I'm just saying.
But Murray takes pressure off Joker.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
And
then-
they've been battle tested together. Aaron can fill some of the void now. Denver looks genius by doing it.
Right.
However, he hasn't been through the battles
Right.
Exactly.
with Joker.
Joker.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they have to
And
develop
now,
some chemistry.
who's gonna back up
Right.
Murray? Like they don't. I don't even know who
Absolutely.
the backup is.
I would say Porter, but he's too young. Maybe
No, Porter's
I'm
out
talking
there in the
about-
starting
yeah,
lineup. We talking about coming off the bench
Oh, come on.
so that Murray gets his
I'm
break.
talking about a point guard.
don't they have Burton?
Yeah, they have other.
Yeah, they have Will Burton.
Okay, but
he's
in
not a
terms
point
of
guard.
the points, the when Murray goes to the bench, if you bring in Aaron Gordon or you sub them at different times,
Right.
you don't miss a beat.
Right.
But now with him out, it's going to be tremendous pressure
Do you
on
think they
Denver.
should have kept IT, Isaiah Thomas?
Well, that's too late now because he's now playing for the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
And I don't know if they could find somebody
right,
like in
At
the
this-
buyout
yeah.
at this time right now. 'Cause
Right.
I don't know their options.
because the buyout ended April 9th. So that means any player cut after April 9th is not eligible
To be
To
signed.
to be on the playoff
Mm.
roster. So, but you can go find somebody who's not been in the league
Exactly.
Right.
if you feel that there's somebody out there. But usually, there's nobody out there at this time of the season.
Right.
So I think that's going to hurt Denver in the long run. And the way it's scheduled, he's going to miss all of next year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even
yeah,
attempt
right,
to come back next
yeah,
year.
Yeah. Oh,
And
I
then
forgot about
he's
that.
got to come back the year after that.
That's
You
sort
know.
of like the Klay Thompson situation.
Sort of like
Yes.
the John Wall.
Right.
Yes.
John Wall situation as well, where he basically missed 2 years.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Even Kevin Durant missed a year and a half due to
Yeah, but
COVID and the way the
The
season.
position. That because
Right.
he's
And
a
even
point
this,
guard,
look, Kevin Durant, it came back too early.
Yeah.
As crazy as it
right.
seems.
Right.
And now I saw him even holding his leg in the Brooklyn
in
the
the
Laker
game. Yeah,
game.
we was a little.
So let's hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Shannon Sharpe had to block him on Instagram or something.
Oh, because Kevin came out with a statement saying that he's striving for something more than just a golden ball.
Right.
And Shannon said, "You wouldn't be saying that." He said that was the case.
That wasn't where the problem was. The problem was Shannon misquoted him. Shannon said that he said, "I beat LeBron twice. I should be the king." Kevin Durant never actually said that. Even though that may be what he was thinking, he didn't say it. So now, him and Kevin Durant got into something, so he blocked him, and they have their issues going on.
Do you feel like Kevin should have defended himself, or did he have the right to defend himself? Or
Kevin
is
very sensitive. That's all I know.
He definitely is.
He's very sensitive to certain
Ball
situations.
his lights
I
out.
understand his philosophy. Like he's worried about growing and being a better player.
But why do you play the game?
But essentially,
and then if you want to be the best in the game, it's going to lead to you being the champion.
Right.
So you can't come
you
off
can't
that.
have one and not have the other because they both correlate. The better you get, the more champions you should aspire to get.
Absolutely.
And to Kevin's quote, back to the.
And I guess his philosophy only works for certain players. Like, for example, Allen Iverson was the greatest he could ever be. It's just the team around him did not lead him to the championship.
Absolutely. So there are exceptions.
There are exceptions to the rule, but
because I was saying with the original quote, if that was with the golden ball statement, if that was the case, if you were striving for something more than championships, you would have never left OKC to go to Golden State.
And there's nothing more than the championship.
Listen, guys, their beef goes a little deeper than that.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Because Shannon loves LeBron,
right?
And Shannon, he's a straight shooter. So because
he's an athlete. So it's like
he's a Hall of Fame athlete,
right?
So even though he didn't play basketball, you can't say he don't understand what it's like to be in the trenches. Right. And I think Kevin Durant has got beef with Barkley. Yeah. He's got beef. Period. So. Kevin is sensitive
because the only analysts I really respect are athletes, like Matt Barnes,
absolutely,
Steven Jackson.
I think Kevin Durant is so sensitive. We can get him to respond to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could use the clout.
We could use the clout.
So speaking of the game,
we saw a good game in which the Lakers surprised everybody without Kuzma,
LeBron and
AD. Came in and put on a show in Brooklyn. Brooklyn didn't have James Harden, and by halftime or right after half, Kyrie was ejected. And so you was dealing with a Kevin Durant who was on minutes limited.
I didn't like the call.
I didn't like none of the ejections. I thought they were just
that was the first time I saw somebody go at Kyrie and put a bucket for bucket.
Yes.
And Kyrie gets mad every time that happens.
Yes. And he had 19 in the first quarter on Kyrie. So he was giving Kyrie some of the business. And they had a few words. And I'm from the old school NBA guys. Few words, no punches thrown. Just separate it. And let's get back to play. And then Kyrie said the N-word. And then it got out of pocket and blah, blah, blah.
Also, Schroeder's an instigator.
He's supposed to be. I like instigating point
But
guards.
he's like Patrick
So
Beverley.
is Chris Paul. So is Rondo. They get under your skin.
Yeah.
Right?
He's like Patrick Beverley, but he can shoot.
Right. Absolutely.
So, but impressive win for the Lakers. That proved that they're ready for whatever Brooklyn throws.
Their depth is battle tested.
The depth.
Their depth might be as good, but they're keeping them afloat.
Yes.
They're around 500.
Right, and they're ready for whatever Brooklyn throws at them. Right. Once they get AD and LeBron.
And because I think of the size. With Drummond in the middle going one-on-one. He abused Aldridge. He abused him. So with that being said, LeBron and them know.
Also, Brooklyn, not to go you off, but Brooklyn has done a great job of hiding all three of them at the same time. We have never seen them play all three.
Yes.
Except for that should not be allowed.
7 games.
They have not played all. So there's no film. There's nothing to guard.
So that's to their advantage, or
is that
to their advantage? But chemistry is important, guys.
No, it is important.
That's what I'm thinking.
So the last 10 games, they need to all be out there. building so we know, okay, you're going to be here, I'm going to be there.
Yeah,
But you told me off the air, Kyrie took another person's day off.
He did.
No, he does. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Kyrie keeps taking
the game
personal
happened
off.
to be canceled anyway because of what the tragic situation in Minnesota, which we'll talk about. You know?
Kyrie keeps taking personal days off.
Right.
Durant has been injured on and off, and then when Durant comes back, James Harden gets mysteriously injured.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Like
he has to be reevaluated in like 7 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
For his hamstring.
Yeah. And I think that might have cost him the MVP. I thought he was on pace to win the MVP.
Because now it's not even like LeBron.
I think
it might be Joker.
I think it's going to be Embiid. Because Joker's not going to be high
but
enough.
then also, Embiid was also injured.
But he back now. And they still in first place.
And he bodied whoever they played last night.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Was it Giannis?
Yeah, 38-point Luka.
I think the Mavs. Yeah, against the Mavs.
36 points in 20 minutes.
Also,
25 minutes.
can we clap it up for Steph Curry and passing Wilt Chamberlain?
Wilt Chamberlain is the all-time leading scorer in Warriors history.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't do this earlier.
No, it took him 12 years. It took Wilt 5.
Right. Right.
Wilt averaged 42 points
and
a
also
game.
too, Fred, you gotta remember he missed the entire season of last year because he broke his hand.
And then you gotta remember
you don't got Clay there.
The first 2 years he didn't really get a lot.
Right. This is the first like 5 years in the league.
Right. So the first 3 or 4 years he didn't do a lot of playing.
Clap it up for Steph again because he's the first to hit 10 or more threes in 18 games.
In his career.
Yeah,
this dude is amazing.
Second is Klay Thompson with 5.
Oh my God, he's that far ahead of Klay?
Yeah, I mean, well, he's a more flashy shooter. But Klay, I'm surprised Klay's in second, which proves they're the best backcourt ever.
Oh, no, absolutely. When Mark Jackson made that statement,
we was bugging.
And we thought he was crazy.
We thought he was crazy. But he was watching him every day.
Yeah. You know who's balling out?
To me, I think Golden State is in a good spot right now because I always doubted Curry's ability to carry the team.
Right.
And he's been doing that all year. Every time he plays, he's been carrying the team.
He even did that in
winning.
2012 and 2013. He beat the Denver Nuggets with the number 3 seed.
Oh, yeah.
Against Iguodala.
I remember that.
And he was 1 game away from being Chris Paul and the Clippers.
Yeah.
And then I forgot who was on this play, but they left Ginobili wide open with the switch. And if he had got there on time, they would have came out with a win against San Antonio.
I remember.
So,
but you know who's been balling? Zion Williams.
My God, he's a monster.
Zion Williamson is
a monster.
The truth. When we thought maybe he was overhyped, I think playing out of the spotlight has helped him.
And it took him a year and a half.
And it took him a year and a half to get it together. Now he's in his zone.
He dropped 38 points, I believe, against whatever team he played last night. And then he dropped 35 points against the 76ers.
Yeah.
And won both games. He's been dropping, I mean, his average has been like 73 to 60% just because it's been a bunch of layups. And dunks.
Yes, his shooting percentage.
It's not like a Blake Griffin effect where it's like he's just a dunker.
No.
He's effective.
He hasn't really dunked. Like, even on the fast break. Like, he just...
And he's been affecting the floor on both ends.
Absolutely.
I do believe he needs to get out of New Orleans because that's not a big market team.
I think he got to get out of New Orleans because they try to build something.
Give New Orleans... Listen, guys, empires are not built overnight. They take time.
Yeah.
And now Ingram is back. So Ingram dropped 30-something the other night, too.
Lonzo's been balling.
Lonzo has been balling. So give them a chance.
But how many?
I think Lonzo's going to go to Charlotte. That would be lit.
Yeah.
How many stories have we seen this, though, where it's a big star in a small market, you try to give him pieces, and it just doesn't pan out?
Eventually, he'll wind up in New York. Which we remember we wanted him to go to New York.
So
bad. So bad.
I even wanted them to get the number 2 pick. Don't get me wrong. I like RJ, but I like John Morant and Zion.
Because even RJ is starting to come along now. And
RJ's been balling. RJ's been balling.
But the player of the week in the East was Jason Tatum.
Oh, I forgot.
My boy. I think he listens to you.
He listens to me. Yes.
Because he dropped 53.
53.
He's starting to
Nobody's talking about it. He gonna get the same treatment Devin Booker's been getting for years. I swear to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna get that same treatment.
The snubs.
Yeah. But he's in Boston. So Boston has a way of highlighting their players.
Oh, that's
Booker is in Phoenix.
Booker's in the desert somewhere.
Right.
So with Jason Tatum, the consistency level now. It's your team. Claim it.
Claim it. Exactly.
Claim it. Your man Jaylen Brown, he has no ego.
Right.
So Jaylen Brown is not going to be.
Jaylen Brown can still get hit.
And he's going to get his, but you got to claim it. I got your back. Let's roll.
Exactly.
So to me, that's my East Coast Dark Horse team.
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
If they come in at 6 or 7, you don't want to play them. I'm
going to play devil's advocate and say you're only going to go as far as Kemba takes you.
I think Kemba is a superb point guard.
I don't like Kemba as much as I thought I would.
He's not elite, but he's not trash.
He's not trash.
He's up there.
He can give you 20 when you need to.
I'm not.
And like 10 assists.
Yes, he can do that.
20 and 10. That's all you need.
He can give you 20 and 10.
We'll see.
But if Miami and if Jimmy and Victor get a little chemistry going.
Yes.
Because they got a bunch of dogs on their team.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, Miami.
They got a bunch of dogs.
Yeah.
But Oladipo got hurt. I don't know how serious it was.
Yeah.
Last week. So let's hope it wasn't that serious.
I kind of missed the fact that they didn't re-sign.
They got Trevor Ariza.
Crowder though.
They got
I missed Crowder on Miami.
They got dogs in that team.
And they got playoff dogs.
And they got exactly.
Yeah.
So.
But how do you feel about the Crowder move? Because I didn't like the fact that they lost Crowder.
Yeah.
But he's been in Phoenix, so he's been better.
In Phoenix,
So,
you can't
sign them all.
The NBA said next season all arenas will be at 100% capacity.
Also the NFL as well.
And the NFL.
Probably baseball too, because they're projecting 50% by the summer.
And Texas had a 100%.
Oh yeah, Texas. Yeah, but Texas
is different. Texas do play by their own rules.
They're their own country at this point.
Yeah.
Guys, you know who's really been balling out? The Clippers, man.
Really?
And Paul, listen, 5 straight
that
wins.
dunk! I saw that dunk.
Nasty dunk.
Miles Bridges. One dunk. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I know. Look. I know. I like the Edwards dunk.
That Edwards dunk
over the.
Yeah.
I get it. I see it. I get it. But
no,
Bridges.
it is. You know why? It's Bridges. It's because of the announcer. The announcer makes it. The announcer. That's one of
this dude Edwards.
We need him for the finals.
The Chinese guy, no disrespect, was here, and he did like this. Like he was, and you see my man like this. That was ridiculous.
Side note though. John Moran would get it if he had dunked it on Kevin Love.
Oh, he tried.
He tried to obliterate.
He tried to dunk it on Kevin.
He tried to end Kevin Love's career.
Yeah. He definitely tried to end his career.
Oh,
yeah, facts.
Where's Kevin Love these days?
I don't know.
On the bench?
Yeah, he's in Cleveland.
Just
nobody
earning that money.
Nobody want him.
Sitting.
Oh yeah, he earned the 5-year. Oh, can we quickly? Side note. Can we quickly talk about I Am Athlete last week with the Brandon Marshall statement? Because that bugged me out.
Okay, let's bring us up to speed.
Last week because. He was talking about.
He went viral, by the way.
With that thing.
Yeah.
He went viral because he was talking about power dynamics, right? And he was saying how he feels like there's a shift in the NFL because Jalen Ramsey, Hopkins, and J.J. Watt were able to get out of their contracts and go to the team that they really wanted to go to. Mm-hmm. And Fred Taylor and Chad Ochocinco in training also said they were saying that look, only quarterbacks can sit in with the owners because the owners only care about the quarterbacks because that's the franchise player, and those are the only positions where you can get guaranteed money in all your contracts, regardless of what happens. Mm-hmm. And he kind of got a little heated because then he tried to say that NBA players don't get guaranteed contracts.
According to him, I know this is true. 40% of that contract from like players who are not LeBron, who are not at that tier, they only get 40% of their money. If they decide to like cut them or something, but there's not a lot of cuts to the flaw in his argument.
There's not a lot of cuts.
There's not a lot of cuts in the NBA like there is in football.
Right. And there's a more power structured development with the NBA because like like Roger Goodell's not gonna listen to defensive backs or like I'm talking about big time players like wide receivers and defensive backs. Even Andre Johnson, who was on the show with them last week, wide receiver for the Houston Texans, he was saying I was trying to get out of the Texans after 8 years. Chad also said he was trying to get out of Seattle. They said no. They were like,
and because understand this, the NBA is only 12 players, 15 technically, but 12 active players on a team. You get to see their face every day. The fans fall in love with personalities in football. We know the quarterback.
Right, that's it.
Right? And we might know the wide receiver. We might know the tight end.
Right. And a defensive monster.
Player.
Right. But here's the thing. Only in the NFL do they say your contract is worth $80 million, but only $25 is guaranteed.
Right.
Right. So that means the other $65 million is not.
Right. And you gotta get accolades for that.
If your contract is $80 million in the NBA, it's $80 million.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Right. And
that is the difference.
Yeah, and then
and it came into the race. They used the race card and saying how NBA only wears shirts and then forget about it. And then
right. And then he tried to use
Kaepernick.
He tried to use the Colin Kaepernick situation, which I get because Colin Kaepernick did try to make a statement. But
he's basically saying the NFL gets the ball rolling for the NBA to be how they are.
The NFL doesn't have as much power in terms of his players.
Right.
And I don't care because there's 53 guys on the team. If it ain't the quarterback or a once-in-a-lifetime
wide receiver,
linebacker or something, then you guys shut up and play. You're not getting out of your contract.
And you got to see who's the president of the players. For most of the NFL teams, it's the kicker, the punter, a few defensive
NBA
guys.
only got one, which is Chris Paul. And then before that was Derek Fisher.
Exactly, right. Derek Fisher. Baseball's Curtis Granderson. Everybody loves Curtis Granderson.
And what's the guy who used to play for the Yankees? He was also
Andy Pettit?
No. He was a part of the president. That union stuff. His name would come to me. He only played for the Yankees 1 or 2 years. The year that he hit that double that had the ball not went into the stands, they gave him a ground rule double. The Yankees would have beat Boston that year, but Boston came back and won 3 straight. Long story, 4 straight.
I don't know.
I forget his name.
It doesn't ring a bell right now.
But with that being said, the Clippers are, the numbers don't lie. 5 straight wins.
Right.
Kawhi's been dunking on people.
Kawhi does his job. The X factor is always Paul George. But now that Rondo is there, I seen Rondo throw some passes that Beverly can't throw that pass.
Yeah.
They're
going to go as far as Rondo takes them.
Yeah.
Because they need a fluid general.
But I still think they're too small for the Lakers. The Lakers have too much size. I think the Lakers are going to beat them in a 7-game series.
Yeah, definitely.
Utah Jazz are still on top of their game. Guys, I kept saying they're going to lose. They playing.
They had an amazing game last week against the Suns. And Mitchell and Booker were going at it. And the first 3 quarters, the third quarter and the fourth quarter, I feel like Mitchell was just giving him the business. Because there was a lot of layups that Booker just missed. And then the overtime, because Mitchell was really gassed and he thought he was going to win the game, Booker started coming alive.
Right.
And Chris Paul is every team Chris Paul plays for, he's the most consistent.
Chris Paul, man. Point guard. G-O-D, yes.
Because every team, no matter where they was positioned the year before, once they get Chris Paul, he gets into at least the top 4 seeds.
Yes.
Every year.
Absolutely.
Except even that one year where the Hornets were the number 8 seed, they was about to beat the Lakers.
Yeah.
If a call didn't go Kobe's way at one of those games, they were going to beat the Lakers.
The Clippers were always top 3 when he was there.
Always. His track.
That
was his best.
Houston.
And to me, that was his best showing because we thought he was going to tank.
Right.
We said he in OKC.
He don't want to play there.
He didn't. He played. And he taught the game to those young guys.
If he doesn't pull his hamstring in game 6.
Alexander, they're going to come up.
And Schroeder.
2 years.
And Schroeder.
He schooled Schroeder.
And if it wasn't for his hamstring in game 5, who knows?
They probably would have won.
True story.
So,
true story.
Credit to Chris Paul.
And last but not least, in baseball, ARod, a baseball guy, buys the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, yeah. I'm not mad at that.
I was a little upset because...
he owns 50%. Well, I don't know if it's 50%.
No, because he has a billionaire with him.
Yeah. Right.
So he's going to be a part of the ownership team. They sold for $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
And I know we wanted Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, but then I understand. Look, his name, Kevin.
He's not a part of it.
Yeah,
you lost $77 million from your agent. Yeah. I don't know how you didn't notice in my bank account. Like, there's $77 million.
But he may have gotten that back through lawsuits. I don't know.
Yeah. Missing from
that's
my
a
bank
lot
account.
of money to be missing.
Yeah. What do you have to be doing to not be paying? Come on.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But what do we think ARod's gonna do for the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Maybe just his face will bring some light. Because
I don't know if he does. He know a lot about basketball.
I'm pretty sure he knows just as much as I do.
He knows the business side of it.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna be in charge of business, but
is there something wrong with owners who don't know the sport that they're purchasing in? Because I've heard that there's a lot of owners that just be purchasing a lot of teams that don't know the sport of the team.
But if you surround yourself with people who do, then you, as an owner, you know business.
Unless you're a fan, like Steve Cohen,
right?
Complete fan. Like
Mark Cuban is a fan.
Right. Mark Cuban, fan.
Steve Ballmer, I know he loves
Steve
his
Ballmer,
team.
Steve Ballmer, fan.
You know what I mean? Those are the best ones. Those are the ones we know.
I feel like Joe Lacob just had a bunch of geniuses around him that made.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Technically, fan.
That's
what a lot of people argue he's the best owner ever.
Yeah.
With George Steinbrenner, Yankee fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
you're listening to the sounds of Disabled is Abled podcast.
In NFL, Julian
Edelman,
he was released.
But now he retired.
He retired 12 years. He's not going to make the Hall of Fame because his regular season numbers don't say it. No Pro Bowls.
But his
postseason is legendary.
Right.
So when it counted
but
most.
Isn't that when that matters?
No, but when you
it needs to be both. It needs to be both.
They got to look at your entire body of work.
Right.
Okay.
He didn't make one Pro Bowl.
Right.
And so there are players who've made 4 Pro Bowls who are not in the Hall of Fame. And how would it look if he got in? You know?
Right. Question, because me and you have had this debate. I've had this debate with Malcolm off the air. Wes Welcome, because these are the only 2 wide receivers where I compare them both.
Right.
I felt like I loved Edelman way more because Wes Welcome was more clutch. I mean, Edelman was way more clutch in the postseason when it mattered because
he dropped 2 balls.
He dropped 2 of them, which is why Tom Brady did not beat Eli Manning both times. And I'm like, bro.
Look, he would be at 10 right now, or 9.
Yeah, right. He'd have 9 going for 10.
And then I'm thinking, it was a beautiful, I can't talk about it. Yeah. Anyway,
it'll bring
but Wes Welker does have the regular season numbers.
Yes.
So it goes both ways.
Right.
Because Edelman has all the postseason numbers.
And Wes Welker has the regular
So you combine those 2, one person.
If you could put 2 of them in as one person, they would be it.
Yeah. So,
does he... Real quick, does he go to the Bucks? Because I think he does.
Well,
I ain't gonna hold you. I think he goes to the Bucks.
Gronk did say he's 60% retired.
Right.
Okay, so there's 40% chance he might pull a Gronk.
If Tom sees the need for him,
because I think he's gonna prefer Edelman over Miller. I know Miller's fast, but he can trust Edelman in the clutch, especially
even if you don't need him, just to have him on a bench and bring him in just for a clutch moment.
Right.
Yeah. So it's all depending on what Edelman's body, because that slot receiver takes a lot of punishment.
Yeah.
Across the middle.
That's what happened with Wes Welker.
Yeah, all the hits across the middle. At some point, man, it's
too
like
many concussions.
Yes, I'm tired of getting hit. Forget what does Edelman need another Super Bowl for? He's got 3.
Because he loves Tom.
I don't care.
But no, Dad, look how many players joined Tom. And look how many. Look at the game where he beat.
Don't count Gronk.
Hold on. Look at the game when he beat the Chiefs. He threw it to all his men that he brought onto the team.
Yeah, but
Fournette, AB, and
Gronk. AB and Fournette didn't have titles, so I understand why they went to play with Tom. I got 3 Super Bowls already. 4 is not going to make it any different in terms of getting me into the Hall of Fame and running on the field, practice, all that stuff. So if he feels it, he'll do it.
He'll do it.
You're listening to the sounds of Disabled is Abled podcast.
Okay, let's talk MLB action. There was a controversial play in the Phillies and Atlanta Braves game. Please bring me up to speed on this.
What was it, top of the 9th?
Top of the 9th, yeah. Top of the 9th, man on 3rd.
It was a pop-up. Caught it. The outfielder caught it. Beamed it to his home base. He got it in time. And the person on 3rd, the umpire called it safe. But when you replay it, clearly
he slid with his foot forward because he couldn't dive first.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the catcher was there. He blocked home plate. Like
he kind of did. But the way the foot glided, it looked like it didn't even touch the base, which it didn't to me.
So why is that controversial?
Because he called it safe.
They called it safe. They went and looked at the replay to confirm it being safe because I think it was challenged, or I think they had to replay it, and they still called it safe. And even though in the replay,
you can clearly see he was
there
out.
was no it's not, his foot is not even there. Like even after the play is over, he does not confirm he tagged.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He was already out. That's why it's controversial, and it even made it worse because
when they went to the replay,
that ended that run that scored was the winning run for the Phillies.
Yeah, because it was tied, right?
Because it was top of the ninth, and it was bottom of the ninth, and they couldn't score.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and I hate when they go to the replay and the whole world can see the play and they still come back.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, what did that? Can they do that in basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, but basketball, used to replays. MLB, this is like a
new
2-year thing,
yeah,
so they don't even know what they're looking at.
Yeah. But the replay is supposed to make things.
And it's abundantly clear. He tagged him on the leg because his foot didn't touch the bag.
Got you.
And it was just like, you're gonna call that safe?
Got you.
Yeah.
So,
and everybody was irate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Freddie, give me some updates on the Yankees. What are they doing these days?
The Yankees, we looking a little rough. You know what I mean? It's the first 10 games, so I can't really judge. Mm-hmm. But, we beat the Orioles like we always do.
Yeah, we beat on them. But Tampa Bay has our number.
Yeah, Tampa Bay had a number, but we keep beating them. All right? So, I think this season is important in terms of the role players. Remember how a year ago or 2 years ago, the role players...
We need a championship. We can't go a decade without a championship. When
I
found out, we went a whole 2000... From 2011 or
2009.
10. Because, that was the last... 2009 was our last one. We beat the Phillies that year. I remember that one. But 2010 to 2020, we didn't get a single title run.
Yeah, that's not the Yankees.
We're all... Come on.
It's not the Yankee way.
It's really not. We would have had
how's our pitching right now?
It looks a little terrible. So,
okay.
But Cole's been killing it.
Yeah, Kluber had a good game one week.
One good game and terrible game.
Where's Severino? Is he still out?
Severino's still out. Herman Dominguez, they put him down to AAA because he's been terrible.
Oh.
And they wanted him to be good. That's why we let go of Tanaka.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So we have no pitching. Okay.
We can't win with
Our pitching is nowhere to be found. We keep bringing up these young kids who don't know what they're doing. And I'm a little concerned for the pitching. And even the offense, Judge, Stanton, they're not doing anything.
They're injured. Every time I turn around.
They always hurt.
Yeah.
If it's not LeMahieu or Gio, who's been coming up clutch, almost had a cycle yesterday.
Yeah.
How's Torres been doing?
Torres has been average. But I don't even question his offense because I know that's going to come. Is his defense.
Gotcha.
His defense, he don't know how to throw the ball from short.
Yeah.
How do you not know how to do that?
Yeah.
I don't like.
It was a guy.
Short was his natural. Short is his natural position. We traded for him. We got him. He's a young.
But you like him better at second base.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
His natural position is short. We moved him to second because we had Didi, and we didn't want to let go of Didi.
Right.
Yeah.
So he became better at second, but forgot to play his natural position, which is short.
We had a.
So I don't know.
We had a second baseman. I think his name was Tauten for the Yankees.
Oh, Talkman.
He had a hitch.
Left fielder.
No, second baseman. And every time he threw the first base, he threw it in the stands. He had a hitch, like a psychological. Yeah, sort of like the guy Orlando Magic, the guy Philly drafted, who couldn't shoot. Fultz.
Oh, right,
but he figured out. Remember, he had this hitch.
Yeah.
And this guy would catch the ball, easy throw to second, and he would throw it in, and he'd be like, oh. So he has something mentally on his mind.
I mean, we did trade for the Rangers second baseman Odor.
Right.
He's been playing good. So I don't know where the Yankees stand. Again, it's been 10 games. You can't really judge off 10 games because it's a long season. But it's not. Look, this small sample size looks terrible. It looks terrible.
What about the Mets?
The Mets are they're not bad as well, but they're average. Like they always lose close games. They're like the Knicks to me. You know the Knicks.
Right. They get right there.
They get right there.
Yeah.
And then they're trying
Knicks
to
have won 3 straight though.
Yeah. Knicks are like. All the games they've been losing this year are like really close. This is exactly what's happening to the Mets.
Gotcha.
They lose by 2 runs. And for me, it's just chemistry. They got to click. And I know it's going to take a minute.
Is Cespedes still on that squad?
Yeah, he is.
How's he been doing?
I don't know because he's nowhere to be found. I genuinely do not know. He's supposed to be there.
Cespedes was like one of the biggest players besides Stanton and Judge at one point.
when they started the DH last year because of COVID, he was playing for 7 games and he just disappeared. He was like, "I'm not playing no more."
Oh boy!
And so he's like who's getting paid that we talked about earlier? Oh, Kevin Love.
Yeah,
like Kevin Love.
Right.
Stay on the bench, just getting paid.
So what's up with the no-hitter on the Padres?
Padres.
First of all, the catcher has caught the last 2 no-hitters. Clap that up. That's amazing.
I think he played for the Mets last year, and then now he plays for Padres.
Oh yeah.
His name is Joe McGroove. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your last name right. But he is a San Diego hometown kid.
Native
kid. And he got them their first no-hitter in franchise history.
Wow.
Yep.
That's huge.
And
Clap that up
and
again.
his parents were at the game.
Oh man.
Like it was a very emotional. This is why I love baseball.
Yeah,
This is why I love baseball.
Your parents are there, and you
And
you in a zone.
And the Padres got their bullpen is nasty.
Yeah.
And it was against a good team too. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna be a problem for the Dodgers.
They're gonna be
for everybody.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
You're listening to the sounds of Disabled is Abled podcast.
In pop culture, as we all know, DMX passed away.
Right.
Yeah,
that was very tough. So we want to send our condolences out to DMX and his family. That's for my generation, guys.
But
you
the
understand
movies,
too.
The movies
so you guys
amazing.
Understand
Legend
how it is to lose an iconic figure.
Yeah, man.
I haven't felt this bad since Tupac passed.
Right.
Really?
In terms of DMX and what he meant, his true nature, how down to earth he was, how much he loved hip hop. Yeah. He didn't want nothing to do with the industry, but he loved the culture of music. Right. And he's been fighting demons. We all fight demons. So the drugs and things were his demons. Yeah. And he went into a coma, and his organs started failing. So as a result of that.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't want to assume, but like COVID
could have something to do with that. Yeah.
Him being alone. Not having a support system there.
Yeah, I mean, he had his fiance and things of that, but he went through a tough time.
Yeah.
So Madonna buys the Weeknd's home for $19 million. Clap that up. It's a lot of bread.
Would have got it for 24, but because of COVID,
you get a COVID discount.
Yeah.
Mm.
So happy for Abel that sell his home.
And the Weeknd bought. Oh, he bought it in 2017 for $18 million.
Right.
So he made $1 million.
Yeah.
It's not bad. A little bit of change.
Well, you don't have to do anything. You just
And in other culture news, Dante Wright, a 20-year-old young man out in Minnesota, was pulled over on the side of the road, and an altercation ensued.
I believe her name is Kim Porter.
Kim Potter.
Kim Potter. I'm sorry.
And he was shot and killed. And again in Minnesota, where Floyd.
She thought it was a taser.
She thought she was to pull her taser, and she wound up pulling her actual gun and killing him. And it's at the timing is bad
because she's experienced. She's been 25 years on the force. She's the president of the union in Minnesota.
Right.
And how do you not know the difference between?
And the reason why he was there in the first place was because he was sent a
that went to the wrong address.
Yes, he was
warrant that was sent.
A warrant that was sent to the wrong address.
So he never had, even though he had a warrant.
He never had because it was sent to the wrong address.
Right.
The police showed up to get him.
Yeah.
And if they would have been sent it to correct address, he would have went on his own.
Yes.
Right.
So we want to send our condolences, especially in Floyd. What's going on in that city.
In that city, just
George Floyd. That's the last place you want to see. That kind of stuff. I'm hearing Brad Bunny, what's his name?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny was on wrestling.
Yeah, he was in WrestleMania.
Let's clap that up. He made the ratings
through the roof.
That was the biggest highlight of the entire event.
Yeah.
Because other than that,
he was actually wrestling, guys. He jumped off the top rope twice.
Randy and Mick Foley gave him his credit.
Yeah.
They like what they see from him, and
he did the spinning scissor kick.
Oh, he probably practiced that.
Yeah, he was taking it
usually
serious.
celebrities
just show up and
they do one move and then they get them the victory pin.
Like, I felt like I was living through him.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, I always wanted to be in one of these matches.
Right.
So me seeing him do that,
and his popularity put them through. Because even when he was on Monday Night Raw, he constantly,
like, he was a part of the storyline. Like, he showed up Monday Night Raw constantly after a Royal Rumble when he performed. Like, I thought it was gonna be a one-time thing and that's it. But nah, he actually, you know,
shot him out.
And he also announced his tour for 2022.
Okay, for 2022.
But he used Triple H
to launch the leverage.
So there was in the video.
Nice.
Triple H gave him a briefcase. He's like, all right, you did well on WrestleMania. We're proud of you. Now go do what you do. He opens the briefcase, and it's a customized microphone with like the Triple H inspired theme.
Nice.
So he's keeping the wrestling alive.
Nice.
Okay? Nice. It sucks we had to wait a year to go watch him perform, but
due to COVID.
Know.
So Fredy, we got some soccer news here.
Yes.
Barcelona passes Real Madrid as the most storied franchise in terms of money.
In terms of money, according to Forbes, let me
bring up the Forbes, the facts.
According to Forbes,
that's big.
This year, they're the most valuable team they're valued at $4.76 billion.
Ooh, a lot of bread.
And Real Madrid is valued at $4.75 billion.
Okay, well then just make the cut. Clap that up.
Just made the cut.
And I think LeBron owns one of those teams.
He owns. LeBron is part owner of Liverpool, which is in England, and they're worth $4.1 billion.
Okay, all right.
I don't know how much he owns of them.
Right. He also owns the Boston Red Sox, a piece of the
Boston.
But that's the same. That's the same group.
The same group of people who own Liverpool.
Yeah.
And so this is big because Real Madrid's always been on top,
right,
in terms of players. But I guess Ronaldo leaving influence the popularity, even though they're still competitive. They're
still competitive.
They're still in the Champions
League.
4-point-something
billion.
Right.
Yeah, they're still competitive. But Messi's influence to the younger generation.
Speaking of still soccer, we watched the Paris versus.
We watched that.
Final?
Yeah.
Champions League Final Four. This is the biggest club tournament in terms of teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid. We just watched this game.
Who did they beat?
They beat Bayern Munich, which is a Germany team.
Right.
They beat them.
Neymar was playing. He was playing.
He
had some close chances at the goal, and
they beat him due to aggregate, which is basically if I'm on your home field and I score, I get the advantage when you come to my field. So if you beat me by like one goal, which would happen, Bayern won the game by one goal, but because they needed one more extra goal to secure the actual
win
away advantage, because you get an extra goal if you score. So let's say I score one goal. When I go to your home field, I actually have 2 goals in my favor because I scored in your house.
Gotcha.
But the same does not apply to that team who's at home in that game. So home field advantage doesn't really work in soccer. I don't know why that's not a thing, but apparently the away team is worth. I guess it's bragging rights, like, I scored in your house first.
Yeah, they got their own little rules.
So Paris won that game. Chelsea won their game.
So is Paris versus Chelsea?
Yeah, most likely. Either Paris versus Chelsea, and then tomorrow, Real Madrid versus Liverpool. And Real Madrid is up 3-1 on this game. So Liverpool Liverpool got work to do.
Where can we be reached?
We can be reached on Instagram at disabled_is_abled. Follow us on Twitter at disabled podcast. And follow us on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe at disabled podcast. Need those viewerships to go up, guys.
Yeah, we like the consistency, guys.
We like the consistency. Help us out. Keep going up. Keep subscribing. Hit the bell notification. Like and comment. All right? We love y'all. We'll see you next week.
And with that, we see y'all next week. Ladies and gentlemen, please throw your hands in the air for the greatest podcast on earth when it comes to music, sports, and culture. Disabled is Abled with your host, Eli and Fredy. So put your hands